Okay, I just sent out invites to all of the current members of the platinum level group. So go look in your inbox with the email to the inbox for the email address that you sent to me, and there should be an invite in that inbox where you can click on the link live, and that will bring you into the Hangout with me. There'll be a where we can work one-on-one, like live on the call. So that just went out. That'll be in your inbox. For those that do not want to do that, do not want to be live, do not want to be on video, totally understand if you don't. You can type your chat, your questions in the chat box on the right-hand side. You go to the chat button. There's a chat thing. You type in your question about what's going on with your knees. Please make the questions like specific. Like, okay, I've been working with module 37 and the tension is shifting and now it hurts this way, or this is what I've noticed. As more specific you can get it, the more value I can help you with as far as how we can get you out of knee pain and get you moving forward. So go ahead and start typing those. Let's see, I think I enabled, yes, the chat box is enabled. Questions are public. There are 10 people on the call so far. The emails, like I said, the emails just went out. So look in your inbox right now to see about that. There'll be a link that you'll click on and it'll bring you right into the Google Hangout. So let's see, I had some things I wanted to cover before. I want to welcome everybody to the October 22nd Knee Pain Elimination Platinum Level call. I want to welcome all of the new members. And one of the big things about being a new member with this program is you have to participate. That's what's most important. Send in questions. Work twice a day with the stretches that I gave you on our initial call, or what tweaks that I've made on these subsequent calls. And that's going to, participating is really what's going to move you forward. It's all about distinctions. The approach that you've been doing, whether it be physical therapy or exercise or different types of alternative therapies, if they're not working, then we need to look at what is working, what is going to create comfort in your knees as well as in the rest of your body to get you moving forward. Because if you're not asking questions, you're not participating, you're by yourself in this. And when you have knee pain and you're by yourself, it's a very lonely place to be. And two, your mind, your lizard brain takes over and it gets you thinking about all of these different things that aren't working and isn't happening and all that. And that's what these check-ins are designed for, to bounce off your challenges, bounce them off of me so we could make that distinction. Because you could be this close to being completely out of pain. But if you're not seeing it because all your whole being is focusing on the pain, then you're never going to see the way to be out of pain. And remember, pain is caused by nerves the width of an eyelash that are being squeezed in your knees, sending a signal to your brain that you have pain. So the distance between you being in pain and being out of pain is the width of an eyelash, which is tiny, 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 tiny. So you're very, very close. Let's see. We got questions coming in. They said, hey, Bill. Hi there. But please, I'm not getting a name in there, so include your name as well as your question. Put in there what you have going on, what you're dealing with. In the meantime, I am going to go to the questions that we have this week from our members. And they're coming up right now. Okay, question here from Deborah Patterson about Module 40. This is working on the meniscus. I show the left knee, mine is the right, the inside is pinched, the solid object should go on the outside of the leg with the pressure from the outside of the leg towards the center, opening the inside of the joint. I don't feel any release. Deborah, sometimes you won't feel a release. Sometimes if the pain is on the inside, you're pushing from the outside, you're stabilizing the inside of that ankle, you're not going to feel the changes. However, the changes may not be immediate, meaning that there was a client that I was working with one time, worked on her ankle, worked on it for 10 or 15 minutes. She didn't notice a thing. She got up and she walked to her car. By the time she got to her car, everything that I was working on her ankle completely disappeared. So sometimes the change isn't always immediate. So that's why writing down notes over a period of time. I've been mentioning a lot to the clients that I've been working with. Jot down any things you see or notice then and later, each time you work, in the morning and in the evening. If it's comfortable, then continue doing it. So that's going to be important. That's going to be important in terms of your progress moving forward. Okay, Karen in Alaska said she got no invite to the mailbox. ROI is in New Mexico, and you're hearing an echo. Okay, we're going to have to work with the echo today because I have no idea why that would be happening. Okay, I got a question here from Mike. Let's see what we got here. Okay. I've been doing the passive stretching. This is from Mike from Houston. I've been doing the passive stretching modules 1, 2, 40, and I find that both knees is easier to rotate to the right. Both knees. So I have focused more on rotating the lower leg to the right. So far, I have not seen much of a change. Mike, this is, I know we spoke the other day about this. When you're not noticing a change, we're essentially rewiring the nervous system. The nervous system is an electrical system. And making sure the body is properly hydrated is key in terms of making sure that the signal gets sent to the brain to rewire this. So make sure you're properly hydrated. That's a thing I remember you were saying that water was a little bit of a challenge for you. So make sure you're drinking a proper amount of water. And I'm glad that you noticed, what's really great is you noticed both knees rotate better to the right. And this is like, could be true now, but that pattern can change because we're working on layers of injury and compensation that we're undoing, we're going through. So continue to work with those. And what I want you to do now that you've noticed both of them rotate to the right better, which is awesome, and we want to make sure the water is dialed in, hold the stretches longer. The longer you hold the stretches, the more time you give the nervous system to reorganize around the comfort. And we're going to get that space in the joint. That's going to be real key because you're a real strong guy, which is phenomenal. However, we got to create the space in the joint, and that's what's going to be key to this. Okay. So, Mike, if you have more on that, please add those in. Okay. RY, great. Pain is diminished. Echo. Echo is gone. Now, is it the pain because of the echo or the pain in your knees? I hope it's both, but ideally it's going to be the pain in your knees. Let me get to the next question here. Next question is from Deborah Patterson, again on module 2, difficulty with stairs, having trouble feeling a release. And this is what I had said before and what I had spoke with Mike about, is that this is a process. Your knee just you didn't wake up one time and your knees are in pain. This has been days and weeks and months and sometimes even years that this has been building up in your body. And when this builds up, the body is so tense that certain areas you'll feel a lot of relief, release, or movement in some ways. But in other ways, you won't feel a thing because it's bound down so tight that way. And even though it's bound down tight that way, continue to work with the process. Because in one person's case, and this is what I've noticed, is that the rotation, the one that I was talking with Mike about, sometimes that gets bound down so tight you can't feel the forward and back movement of the joint, the intrinsic movement of the joint. So as we continue working with the rotation and that releases, then you can get more noticing of movement forward and back. This is going to be key. And I'm not saying this is like in every case, but what I am saying is that some person may not feel anything with module 1, while another person may not feel anything with module 5. So it's going to be different for everyone, and go to the principles, taking the body to comfort. When we take the body to comfort, the neurologically, the body will let go of tension because it feels safe, supported, and listened to. You're giving space, you're giving room, you're listening to what the body is, the tension pattern that it's displaying and shortening that pattern, which allows the neurology to begin to change. Okay, this is Mike. I have, however, been doing modules 22 and 23 before bed and before I wake, and don't know if this is a direct impact of the passive stretches or modules 22 and 23, but my leg has been less stiff in the morning when waking up. Yes, cool. That is awesome, because this is a bigger pattern. Like, you could think of the knees as the weakest link in the series of tension from the head to the feet. And when we have, when the knee gets injured and you need surgery or you have pain, that is just the weakest link. And sometimes we look further upstream, meaning in the hips and the lower back. And by relaxing the tension in the hips and the lower back, we free up the pressure in the knees. So now the passive stretches that you're working on in the knees can work better because it's not so bound down throughout the whole structure. So Mike, you're doing great. Like, the results that you're getting is awesome. The fact that it's not stiff, that's going to free up your body to be able to express itself. And that's what we want. So you're doing awesome. Just keep up what you've been doing. Focus on the mindset piece. And this is going to be for everyone. That if you get into a place where it's like you wake up and you're like, oh, my knees hurt. And it's going to happen. Getting out of knee pain is not linear. It doesn't go like this. It's like the stock market. It goes up and down. So on the days you wake up and you feel like horrible, then what I want you to do, and this is going to be a great exercise for everyone that's on the call, I call it authentic journaling. And that is, you get a timer, you get a pen, you get a piece of paper, and you set the timer for 10 minutes, and then you write. And what I want you to do is give voice to like the inner 2-year-old. This is the pissed off, angry, hurt, upset, sad, inside person that doesn't know what to do. For me, I was so angry that I couldn't get on the judo mat and throw people again. I couldn't even, I was so angry at myself because I went skiing. And I didn't even like particularly like to be skiing, but I went anyways. And I injured my knee. And now here I am, surgery, ACL reconstruction, 4 knee dislocations. They took out 2 pieces of meniscus, and there I am lying with my knee swollen. It's, rice therapy. It's elevated. I'm on Percocet, puking into a garbage can. It's like I was so pissed off at myself. But giving a voice to that when you have the pain facilitates, because this is not just a physical thing. This is mental. This is emotional. It is physical. And there are other elements that I'll get in down the road that we'll talk about. But for right now, that authentic journaling gives a voice to those emotions that are coming up, the irrational thoughts. You write for 10 minutes. And you're going to get to a point where it's like you're writing and you're repeating the same things, and it's going to seem kind of silly. And when it does, or the timer goes off, then you take that piece of paper, you stop writing, you rip it up, you burn it, you shred it, whatever it is, it's gone. And then you continue with the process because you give an outlet for that emotion for it to go somewhere. Okay. Got Mike. Okay, RY. Thank you. Pain in the knees is almost gone. Every so often I move not wisely and not well. Pain moved down to above the ankle. Perfect. Excellent. Let me get you some things to work with above the ankle. Could you be a little bit more specific on when you mean above the ankle? Like, I just need more details. You give me more details on that, I'm going to zero in on exactly what stretches you need to be doing in the virtual knee pain clinic, and we'll get you moving forward with that. And understand that the not so wisely piece, it's not a big deal. Like, things happen. We do stuff. I move in bed a certain way because I didn't drink enough water, and then I could tweak my knee. It's not getting the judgment out of it, and that's where the authentic journaling can be very helpful in terms of would like to, we got to remove the judgment out of it. So be easy on yourself. Okay. RY would like to build strength. Cool. I want you to build strength, but I want to get mobility work done first. So I'm going to give you a series of mobility exercises that's going to get the body in line with itself. It's going to be a workout, but it's not a workout in the fashion that you're probably used to. So I want you to go into the virtual clinic, the Knee Strength Studio, and I want you to do module 7 through 19. And that's going to help with getting the body in alignment with itself. Like, once we get the knee out of pain, we don't want to go in and start building strength right away. We want to build intelligent, we want to have a methodical approach, which means we get the body in alignment with itself, get it moving more loose and free on the ground. It's going to dissipate the fear, continue doing the passive stretching to relieve the pain that develops, and then we'll continue on. Okay, let me get some more questions here. Let's see. Here's Ann Brown. Skeletal explanation. Bill, what an excellent explanation. No one has ever explained my knee problem to me before. It is all true what you have said. I feel as though you have been talking about my problem. Legs go out, splayed, fitted, as you explained. I am so pleased I have come across your site and intend to follow your instructions very carefully so I can get relief from my painful knees, which have just got gradually worse over the past 3 years, despite going to physical therapists, acupuncturists, etc., all costing a fortune and very little relief. I know the importance of drinking lots of water and have a good diet. Don't drink nor smoke. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Ann. Okay, here's another one from Ann on the kneecap. I have been doing the exercises you suggest at least twice per day, sometimes 3. There seems to be plenty of movement in my knees. I went for a walk this afternoon for about an hour using my Nordic poles, but my legs have had a dull ache since. I have just completed your exercises, which weren't uncomfortable, but my legs are still aching. Should I go out walking whilst doing your program? Yes, and absolutely, I want you to exercise while you're doing the program. However, give me more of an idea of the ache. Like, is it centered in the joint? Is it on the outside, the inside, the front, the back? Does it... I need a little bit more detail on what you mean by ache. Modules 1 and 2 in the passive stretching section are going to help with general ache. Now, 1, 2, and 40 actually, because we're working with the rotation, forward and back, and meniscus. That's going to be helpful. However, what I want to get an idea is, like, does the ache, is it just the ache standing there? Does it ache sitting there? Does it hurt when you walk? Does it hurt when you push off? And when you push off, is it pushing off of the right or the left? Or does it ache when you step? And is it aching when you step with the right or the left, or both? Like, this is going to cause you to, like, I was talking about distinctions before. The more we thin slice and like zero in on exactly what's going on with your knees, then we can, like, find the specific passive stretch that is going to take the pressure off of the nerves and give you relief. And the relief is that close, the width of an eyelash. I just need that feedback to zero in on that. Keep up the great questions. Okay, another question here from Emily Scott. Passive stretching heel pain. The inside edge of my heel hurts when I press in or out. I never feel yet that the heel moves, but the padding, cushioning can be forced to move when gripping. Oh, now at the end of this video, you talk about pain in a specific spot. So much to get. I can pinch and squeeze pain if that is enough. Yes, like, the pattern doesn't have to be, these are principles in getting the pain out of the body. And you could think of a tension pattern that's going on in the knee, however it is. And if it's a rubber band and the rubber band is pulling and it's causing pain somewhere along that rubber band, which the rubber band is tight. But if we take the ends of that rubber band and push it together, we take this and create slack in the rubber band. These are the spots that hurt. And when we take the slack out of there, that sends the neurological signal to the brain to tell it to interrupt that pain signal. And when it interrupts the pain signal, the body reorganizes around the comfort. This is what all of the different passive stretches are doing. It's depending on where the pain is, I'm getting a clear picture of how the pattern is displayed. And when you tell me the knee hurts on the inside, right where the knee hinges, that gives me an idea that the meniscus is bothering you at that spot. So I'm going to give you the meniscus stretch to work with to get the pressure off of it. If that pain moves, that means it's a different tension pattern, so it's a different rubber band. The rubber band may be pulling this way, or maybe pulling this way. Or, you think of it, if you look at an anatomy chart with the muscles and tendons and ligaments and bones, they're all moving in different directions. The body's a series of pulleys and levers. So we're changing these patterns to create comfort so the neurology can begin to rewire. Okay, Garrick's here. Hey, Garrick. Ann Brown again. Can you do the passive stretching exercises more than twice per day? Absolutely. You can actually do the passive stretching as many times as you'd like per day. as long as ideally you're not doing it before like in a physical exertion. Like I know Mike, his job is very physically taxing. So when he goes to work out, I don't want him to do the passive stretches and go try to max squat, because we're relaxing the patterns in the neurology. We don't want to push it because we just got the body comfortable. Don't make the same mistake I did. I get my body out of pain and I would go to judo. And then I'd screw up the same thing that I was trying to get out of pain from. And I didn't get it. I did it for 5 years. So please don't do the same mistakes that I did. I'm here as like a warning. Okay. Between the ankle and the muscle, RY, you said between the ankle and the muscle, but give me an idea. Front of the ankle, back of the ankle, inside of the ankle, outside of the ankle, which leg, right or left? So give me an idea. And that's going to help you. Pallavi says, knees are so much better. Big thank you. Yesterday, my left hip area started to hurt. It feels better when I stretch it across the right leg, knee when lying down. Can you please suggest some modules? Okay, let me see here. Knees are much better. Big thing. Yesterday, my left hip area started to hurt. I need more details on what is the left hip area. Front of the hip, like where the bone is in the front of your leg. Is it on the outside of the hip? Is it in the back of the hip? And that's going to help me get an idea as to what direction I'd point you to. So continue to type that in on the right-hand side. Okay, question here from Emily Scott. On module 19, passive stretching ankle pain. My ankles do not hurt. Can I leave this out since I'm overweight? Yes. If it doesn't hurt, you don't have to do it. As far as passive stretching goes. And understand, like being overwhelmed, that's okay. But if you're overwhelmed with it, then ask questions. Slow it down, because this is really an interesting part about getting over knee pain, is that our amygdala, which sits right on top of our nervous system, it's the oldest part of the brain. And what it does is when we get out of our area of what we know, it starts getting like worked up, because the amygdala is designed to protect us and keep us safe. And it also keeps us from changing. So when we start doing things that are outside of the norm, like passive stretching, which is focusing on comfort, it's going away from pain to comfort. When we start focusing on that, it's sometimes until we get the neurology down in our head that we're looking for comfort. The body's going to go, oh, where does it hurt? Where does it hurt? Where does it hurt? Because it's foreign, it's new. It's like going to your friend's house for the first time. The first time you're trying to get the streets right, and you go there the first couple times and it takes you sometimes even twice as long to get there. But once you get the path down and you get it in your brain straight, then it's like, oh, I just take a left here or right here and their house is over on the left. It's done. But we got to go slowly initially to begin to get that neurology down. So take the pressure off of yourself. It's fine. You'll be okay. Just keep asking questions, keep participating, and that's where you're going to continue to move forward. Okay, here is passive stretching from Anne. I have tried lying on my front with the lower, this is module 23, passive stretching hips with tent, and with let's see, it's underneath the hips, but I'm struggling to keep my hands down by my sides while doing it. It is so painful for my neck. I have other issues with my neck despite doing what you have suggested. Have a pillow under the side of my neck that I am turning to. Any suggestions? And have the pillow underneath your shoulder. Use your shoulder. So you're on your stomach. It doesn't matter where your hands are. Your hands could be by your side. Your hands could be up here. But you want to turn your head. It doesn't matter. The pillows are underneath your hips, taking the tension out of your lower back. You want to turn your head in the direction, one, that it's easier, and two, if both sides are kind of difficult, you want to face it in the direction that is more easier, and then put a pillow underneath the shoulder so it brings your shoulder back and it gives room for the neck to turn. That's the piece, what's going to make a difference. Okay, next question here. Question from Emily. Passive stretching, heel pain. The bottom of your foot is easier to see than number 15, bottom of toes. It is too advanced for me to know. The monitoring, maybe more reviewing will help me do it. My right foot feels puffy, sort of like a balloon. When I put weight on it, I should have used ice on it after acupuncture. Doesn't look swollen. Need to know, do you not like people using orthotics? I'm not opposed to orthotics. I just think it can create a crutch for the body to shift past the orthotics. And actually, on one of the diamond calls, I went in on how you can use cardboard to imitate orthotics in a way to keep the feet balanced, and then as the body shifts past it, you can remove the cardboard, and then you won't need it anymore. Okay, I believe the connection after this, my heel hurt a minute. I did do not have ankle pain. Working on one foot with that knee bent so much for so long irritated the knee. Is it good or harmful to lift one leg back and shake the foot ankle, then repeat the other side while standing or in a swimming pool? No, it's perfectly fine. You want to make sure, like, if your knee gets stiff in a certain position, if you're holding it in a certain position too long, then you want to, one, make sure you're drinking plenty of water, because the body could get stiff in that one place. And the next one is, I'd like to give you, I was working with one of the Diamond members with this the other day. Let's see. This is going to be module 34, Emily, the whole leg rotation. And when you're doing it, if it's in a difficult position, put a pillow underneath the knee. Like your legs are crossed, you're trying to get to your foot, and it's difficult. It may be impinging in the hip, or it may put strain on the knee. Put a pillow underneath the knee. And I could demonstrate this. So I'm crossing my legs and I'm trying to work on my foot, but it's hurting the knee, or it's bothering the hip in here. So I would put a pillow underneath here. I could be sitting on my bed. I could be sitting on the couch. I could be sitting on the floor. Put pillows here so I don't have to hold this part and then work on the foot. Okay, Ann Brown writes, further to my question from the email, the pain is in the kneecap and on both sides of the knee. It isn't there all the time, but a fair amount of time. Oh, good. Okay. Then what I would like you to focus on, like, and is it directly on the kneecap? Or is it, on the sides of the kneecap, below the kneecap? Does it feel like it's in the tendon just below the kneecap? That's going to be like an indication. But for the kneecap itself, I want you to do module 8 in the passive stretching section. Both sides of the knee, I want you to work with module 40. That's going to be the meniscus. But then if the pain is slightly above or slightly below the knee joint, so the joint hinges right here. So if the pain is on both sides, here and here, or is the pain on the sides of the knee just slightly below or slightly above the knee joint? And if it is, make that distinction, type that in for me so I can give you something else, because there's some other stretches that I would want to give you to zero in on that, because I got some stuff for you if that's the case. Okay, question here. Next question here from Emily. This is awesome. Sore points inside below the knee. Interesting. I think I do it right. Hard to hold femur with one hand. Hard to keep the hand from sliding. Afterwards, the inside of the knee felt pain-free. That's awesome. And here's the cool part. We don't necessarily have to do it perfectly right in order for it to work. When I was using the example of the rubber band and we shorten that tension pattern, when we shorten that tension pattern a little or a lot, the nervous system can still reorganize around it. It doesn't have to be like this huge effort. We don't have to do a lot of work. It can be, it's actually much easier to get the body out of pain than we allow it to be. So, great, Emily, that you were able to do that. And that's awesome. So just keep that up and realize that's how close we are to getting out of pain. I have one more question that was sent in. I want to address that. How can I pick up things off the floor without squatting, kneeling, or flexing my back? I had back surgery. This is Carrie. Okay, let's see. If I decided to have surgery for my torn meniscus, would the exercises prevent bad scar tissue from forming before then? Scar tissue, let's look at what scar tissue is. And I want to answer the question about back surgery. Scar tissue is connective tissue or fascia that develops at the site of an injury. It's think of it like a Band-Aid. Like you cut your finger and that real hard tissue that forms underneath the skin is scar tissue. So when you have a knee injury or a surgery, the body will develop this scar tissue or connective tissue, which is there anyways. It just forms in a way to protect the joint so the joint doesn't get injured further. It also kind of gets it stuck. Think of it like a rut in an old dirt road. Scar tissue development in and of itself is not bad. And there's two ways of breaking up scar tissue. There's a direct approach and then there's an indirect approach. The direct approach is like sticking a knuckle in it, breaking it down. I show walking on the knees in order to break down scar tissue, like what I did for my ACL surgery, because I had a patella. They took a part of the patella tendon out, so I had a lot of scar tissue on the patella tendon below the kneecap. So that's the direct approach. It needs it. It breaks it down. Now that can be extremely painful, like really, really painful. And we want to get leverage on the body so we're not causing it to be in so much pain that it can't get out of pain. We want to teach it to recover faster. So by creating comfort in there, which is an indirect approach, which is what we talk about with the passive stretching, we can begin to break down the scar tissue gently. So it makes it easier when we go to a direct approach to break that down more, and then go back to an indirect approach that will allow the knee to feel comfortable and the scar tissue to break up easier and faster. So that's going to be, it's not a totally direct question. It's a process that you go through. And eventually what happens is a scar tissue just goes away. The body begins to reallocate it. It doesn't need it in that place to protect the knee anymore. Okay, your other question, how can I pick up things off the floor? There's a couple things that go to mind. One is your legs are straight. You make your hamstrings very flexible where you can bend with your hamstrings straight. Another thing, I used to have these, when I worked, I used to collect garbage at the University of Toledo when I was in college. And I'd go, and they had these little grabber things. You know, you can squeeze it with your hand, and on the other end, it had these pinchers that you can grab things and pick them up off the floor, put it up on a table, go get it off the table. That's just thinking outside the box as far as that goes, but also working with how to get the back comfortable, working with modules 22 and 23 in the passive stretching section can relieve a lot of the tension in the back to give the flexibility so you can bend over and get those things that you need. Okay. How do we get given new homework based on our progress? Well, you have to send in what your progress is. How has the tension shifted and changed? Where has it moved to? What are you noticing? Do you have a new issue present, or is it the same issue you're dealing with? It's all going to move. So that is, that's how you get new homework and show up on the calls and participate and ask those questions. What can I do for cardio exercise? Even if I can't speed walk, I can't swim because of a neck problem. I think the chlorine is unhealthy. Cardio, as far as like cardio isn't the highest leverage thing for someone in pain to focus on. Like it's not real important. However, you can do what I gave, gosh, I don't remember who I gave it to. But if you go into the Knee Strength Studio and do the mobility work, module 7 through module 19, and if you do it correctly, that actually will give you, it'll tax your lungs. But you have to do it slowly and you have to do it correctly. So, you know, take your time doing it, and that's something you can work on as far as, you know, cardio work, but it's going to get your body in alignment with itself. And it's going to get you moving in a lot of non-weight-bearing ways to get your body in alignment with itself. So it builds confidence in your movement. That's a big piece. Okay. When doing the kneecap passive stretches, what is the best position for the leg? The kneecap seems most loose standing, but that is hard on my back. Also, what if the kneecap moves to both sides equally? These stretches have been great at relieving pain, by the way. It seems they may be increasing my neuropathy, though. Any suggestions? Carrie, awesome. And I'll tell you why. Okay. Best position to do the kneecap passive stretches is going to be with your leg slightly hyperextended, meaning put your leg up on a coffee table, put a pillow underneath your ankle, so it's going to extend your leg just a little bit more, and that's going to loosen up the kneecap so you don't have to stand. Any way you can, like putting your leg up on a couch and put a pillow underneath the leg so the leg straightens out just a little bit more. And the more you straighten the leg, the kneecap will unlock, or it'll get loose like it does when you stand. If the if the leg is slightly bent, the kneecap engages and it makes it really hard to move. So you want to make sure the leg is straight. And if the kneecap moves to both sides equally, it's okay. You don't have to do that direction. Work on up and down, the diagonals, rotation. That's all going to be very helpful. The fact that it's increasing the neuropathy. This is what I was talking about when we have injury compensation. Injury compensation. So the kneecap was compensating for the neuropathy. And now that we're relaxing the kneecap, you're feeling the neuropathy that has always been there, but the kneecap was pulling too tight for you to feel it. Give me feedback on the neuropathy. Like, what is happening? What are you feeling? Where are you feeling it? When are you feeling it? Which leg? Right leg, left leg, in the hip, in the lower back. The more specific you can give me, then I'm able to go and say, okay, here in the passive stretching section, I want you to work with the hips or the lower back. That's gonna be helpful. So you're doing a great job. And the fact that you're feeling other things is a testament that comfort is working. And we just need to keep our mindset right. So we're going to focus on comfort. And we're not going to go back and say, oh, well, the pain has moved and it's getting worse. That's not the case. It's actually getting better. We're just getting to what has been too loud in your nervous system for too long, and your body couldn't hear it. Okay, let's get on to okay, Garrick, when I do module 1 straight leg rotation, I feel numbness in my toes. Is this normal? I'm thinking, Garrick, there's tension in your hamstrings. That's what's causing the numbness in the toes. So I would point you towards the stretching lounge. Now, this is going to be the active stretching section. Watch the intro to active stretching and start working with the hamstring stretches. Modules 2, modules 3, the calf stretches, modules 5, module 6, in module 8, the hurdler stretch. That's going to work with the hamstring. All of those are going to work with the hamstrings to relax it. But it's not relaxing the tension. You're actually stretching. This is going to be like a yoga stretch. However, sometimes the muscles are so tight that when you're trying to relax them, we just need a little bit more. Different approach. So try that. Let me know how it goes. Okay, we got a question from RY here. When I stand up from sitting, my legs seem to break above the knee, not the knee anymore. The pain is along the lower part of the leg. Crossing the ankles affects the knees. I don't understand what you mean by break above the knee. Not the knee anymore. I'm not totally getting that question. And the pain is along the lower part of the leg. Crossing the ankles affects the knees. Lower part of the leg. Crossing the ankles affects the knees. I'm not real clear on what you're asking. My legs seem to break. Okay, here's a question from Ann. The pain is just below both knees. The pain seems to go up into the top of my knees, going into the thighs. Just below both knees. So you go up to, okay, here, Ann, I'm going to give you 4 stretches. And I want you to do these in a chair. This is going to be in the passive stretching section. passive stretching. I want you to do modules 3, modules 4, inside below the knee, inside above the knee. 3, 4, 5, and 6. But I want you to do them outside, inside, above the knee, outside, inside, below the knee. 3, 4, 5, and 6, but I want you to do them like I'm demonstrating in 6A, which is do them in a chair. And let's see how that begins to address those spots that you have going on, and let me see how that changes. And goes into the thighs. So I want you to do 3, 4, 5, 6, and 6A, and then I also want you to do module 42, the skin twist. And I want you to do it above the knee, in the thigh, probably halfway up the thigh. That should address what you have going on there. Okay, and those grabbers are excellent for picking up very small things off the floor. It's helped me a lot. Would recommend. And nice, thank you. I'm glad you guys are contributing and helping each other, because this is a community. Like, nobody gets what it's like to have knee pain until you have knee pain, and it's a lonely, lonely place to be. So, it's one of those. It's one of those things that you got to embrace that community and allow people to help, and ask those questions so people know what's going on. Because odds are, there was a question today. I had a introductory call with someone, and they had said, well, is it one-on-one? And I said, well, yeah, it is one-on-one, but what happens in a group environment like this is the issue that Anne has or Emily has, several other people are going to have the same type of questions or the same type of issues. And this is going to zero in on helping get the bigger picture of understanding on how to get out of knee pain. So that is, I'm going to start moving towards wrapping this up. I want to cover a few things here before we get off the call. So if you are watching this call and you're not a member of the platinum level or the diamond level of the knee pain elimination program, sign up. Sign up for a time where we can talk. I can get you your first homework assignment, get you moving forward and get relief with your knees so you don't have to be in pain. It just doesn't have to be that way. There is a choice now. It is a choice, and that choice is up to you, and you ultimately have to take that first step. And, the contrary, the opposite position is do nothing and continue to get the same results that you've been getting. And the reality of it is, if you don't do anything different, the results aren't going to be any different than the average person out there, which is, you get arthritis, degenerative changes, the joint begins to wear, it dehydrates, and you end up perfect candidate for knee replacement surgery. And in the interim, your quality of life is not so great. So there's a choice. Meet on a call like this every couple weeks, give a little bit of guidance, and continue moving forward. Get a great life. Okay, let's see. Okay, break above the ankle. When I stand up from sitting, lower part of the leg affects the knees. Okay, well, let's give you some stuff to do for the ankles. So RY, I want you to go into the stretching lounge, passive stretching section. And work with module 17 Module 18, and Module 19. These are going to work with your ankles. And then I want you to work with the Module 42, the skin twist, but just for the lower part of your leg. In the video, I demonstrate the thigh and higher, but I want you to do that same movement with the fascia or the connective tissue from above your foot all the way up to your knee, and see how that begins to change with what's going on. So go ahead and work with that. So let's go over the date and time for the next call. The next call is going to be let's see. It's going to be November 12th. I think we have to skip a week because I'm actually going to be not in a place where I'd be able to have the calls. So we'll have the calls in November on Thursday the 12th, and then we're going to do it the following week on Thursday the 19th. That's how it's going to work in November. And it's going to be the same time, 12 p.m. Eastern. Look for the notifications of the calls. Like these calls go out, you get notification to sign up for them. So all you got to do is click on a link and pop into the hangout here with me, answer your questions, and then we move it forward. So that's going to be the 12th and the 19th at the same time. Please provide a form that directs me to zero in on where the pain is and how to be specific for you to understand what I mean. That's a good question. We are working on some things. Thank you for that. And I realize I have a lot of work to do in terms of getting the site dialed in so it's more user-friendly. And that's something we're in the process of doing. I've got a great team that's working with me, and we are working on some things to get the members area revamped here in the next month or so. So thank you for that feedback. I'm going to pass that along because I am great at getting people out of knee pain. But on the technology side of things, that's not my area of expertise. So thank you, and I will work on that. Okay, the last part here. Thank you. Thank you so much for being on the call. I am so excited to see so many people participating. Honestly, I want to help. I really do. And it is so rewarding to see people go, oh, I got relief. Oh, it's changing. It's feeling better. That means so much to me because it's been 16 years since my knee injury. And there was this place where it's like, I thought I was like it was my own little world, and thinking, well, if this works for me, it's got to work for other people. So the more that I get this message out there and other people are helped and it improves their lives, it makes such a difference. It makes a big difference to me because I want to have that impact. I want to be able to share that. So thank you very much. Okay, Anne says, I have to do the other modules also. You do the other modules to the extent that you need to do them, meaning does your knee hurt in those areas, and do those modules create relief in those areas? So it's one of those things, if it doesn't bother you, you don't need to do them just for the sake of doing them. But if your knee bothers you in that area and you do them and it creates relief, then absolutely do them. So really the program is about teaching you how to feel your way out of pain. And it's a huge distinction, because it's not one of those things that I could say, okay, do this and do this and do this and do this and you'll be out of pain. And meaning like do this for everyone. It's not going to apply. what's going to be for Emily and Ann and Mike and, and Garrick. Each of person's going to be slightly different depending on the pattern. The body's this magnificent, fantastic healing mechanism, but we have to understand how to tap into its ability to do so. And I'm like giving you like the baby steps right now, but in a short period of time, you're going to get it. And you're going to go, wow, I can do this on my own. I can work with this. And these check-ins are just like to get, get that feedback so you know how to work with it. If the pattern moves from the knees into the neck, what do I do? And I'm here to guide you and support you in that process. Anne said she drank a liter of water while she's listening to me. Fantastic. I had some water here. I forgot. Actually, I get into this because I love it, and I'm so excited to see so many people on the call to be able to help. So I zone out. That's what happens. But okay, thank you all very much. I'm going to wrap it up. I actually have some things I need to do, be a dad and some other stuff. So thank you all so much for being on the call. The replay will be out. So if I said something fast, the replay link will be sent out. You can rewatch it and fast forward it to the part in there where I talk about your specific issue. And you could use that as a reference to go into the virtual clinic and figure out where that stuff is. So thanks once again. I'm here to help. Ask questions. Please participate. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful rest of the week.